My choice was to be a stay-at-home mom, and now I have to be okay with my husband getting 50% custody of my kids, our kids. And then I also have to be okay with the fact that when they are with him, they are most likely going to be taken care of by a nanny or a babysitter. So instead of me getting to spend that time with my children, because I don't work and I'm home, I have to be okay with them spending time with a nanny. And I get it, he works, so he's gonna need some kind of help. But like, why can't I spend that extra time with my kids? Why is it okay that we're getting divorced and he gets 50-50 custody, but also gets to hire a babysitter because he's not a stay-at-home dad. He has to work. So like, why? I asked him if I could be his babysitter, and he said no. He objected and declined. He said no as many times as he could say no, that's a no, that I cannot be his babysitter and I can't spend the time that he's at work with my kids like I have always done. Why is this okay? Like, why? So all of a sudden, you've never been able to pick our kids up from school. You've never been able to be home until 6:30 p.m., which I get maybe he didn't want to come home because I was here. But that's why I was a stay-at-home mom, because he worked and I could pick them up from school and do everything for them until he got home from work. But now, like, we're getting divorced and I have to be okay with losing. I lost my husband, I lost my family, and now I'm losing out on half of my kids' lives, and half of that time, they're not even going to be with the other parent. They're going to be with a sitter. How's that okay? How is that okay? That is not okay. If I'm available, then I believe if he needs a babysitter, that I should be able to spend that time with my kids. My joy.
But I get the emotional part of it, but both your lives are going to change in radical different ways. And if you were a stay-at-home mother and that was your choice, great. You can't do that now because that may have been your choice, but he had to fit the bill. You now have to pay your own way. That you're not going to have the free time you think you're going to have. And more importantly, why would he want to see you more or be around you more than necessary after the divorce? Like, I'm not, I know where she's coming from an emotional point of view, and it's fine that it's a selfish one, but when you're now involved in the kids and you're trying to say he should do, he should move like this, why is it not fair? What happens when the kids aren't with you and they're with him? As long as they're safe, you don't really have much of a say in how he governs that time. Yeah, it would be better if there wasn't a nanny or if there was a baby's. Yeah, okay, I get that from the most point of view. Like, you want more time with your children, but realistically, when you have to go and work now, where's that time going to be? He could say the same thing when you look and say, you don't really have time because whatever job you got, you've been out of the workforce for quite some time. You're going to have to work a lot of hours in order to have a quality of life where you can take care of yourself and kids on your own, despite whatever alimony or child support you may get. You may have to work more, you may have to work longer. What are the kids supposed to do in that time? They'll probably have something similar, a nanny or a sitter. If that is the problem, you first have to create the life that you have, that you're going to have, and create the spaces for all this to make sense before you go and sort of vilify what he's deciding to do. If you have kids and you're like, well, why can't I be the nanny? And he's just like, no, no. That is just because whatever reason is animating the divorce, nothing really would change for him. He would go to work and either have to go get the kids from you or drop the kids from you on his way. It, what changes in his life? If you guys are divorcing, there's this separation where you are no longer that much part of his life. We get that the kids are always going to bind you guys. That's fine. That's a thing you can accept. But what you're asking is all the benefits of the marriage without being married. He's still supposed to go to work, support this scenario where he's babysitting, you're being the babysitter, and probably needing to be compensated for that time while still paying whatever child support and alimony that he has to pay. No. Once you initiate this divorce, that is now the thing that is happening. There's he his responsibility to you sort of ends outside of you being the mother of children. Uh, what does he owe you? What you're asking for is favor and courtesy, and those are fine when you guys have an established real relationship where there's a give and take, there's a back and forth. But that's gone now. He doesn't owe you any of that. There's nothing for him to sit there and say, "Let me bend over backwards to help you out." No, this is sometimes the cold sort of reality of the divorce. Those things that you thought he would always do, because he's always done them. And sometimes that's before you guys were even married, up until you're married. But once this is initiated, he has no obligation to do those things to you. It's a cold new fact that you have to sort of go and accept. This is just the world. But more importantly, there's so many comments about that where this is the great thing and the poor thing about social media. There's so many comments in this. Sometimes people need a differing opinion, or you need this woman, I would believe, needs to understand what it's like from the man's point of view, why he's saying this, not sort of support and telling you, well, no, now you should go for 70-30. Now you should want more, desire more, or he's doing this because he's hurt. He's doing this. What we're getting is a one-sided sort of rendition of what's happening. We believe what she's saying is this. What the part of her saying, he's going to need this. He's going to need a babysitter, a nanny. Well, what happens if it's family? What happens if it's a close friend, or if someone else that, no, I can step up and help you out here until you find something else? What happens if he remarries? There's so many paths you can walk down rather than sitting here and sort of helping her in this sort of emotional state. We're saying, no, well, that makes sense. It's all about the kids, and you should demand more from him. He's just saying, well, we got 50-50. I don't want you to be the babysitter. I want you in my life as little as possible. There could be still pain and hurt from this ongoing divorce. When we create this echo chamber where people get to hear exactly what they want to hear from an emotion point, we think this is support. We think, and I don't want to make this a gender based thing, but we often think supporting your friends is, you have to support your friends in whatever sort of mind state they're in. But sometimes you need to be able to pull them back and reel them back to reality and say, this is going to be an arduous process. There are things that you want and things that you are not going to be able to achieve. Most things are negotiable. If you come to him with a reasoned sort of request and highlight, well, this is what you would get from it, this is what I can get from it, you'd have to give up something else to get something else. This goes from, again, courtesy to business. And men often are behind the ball in making that switch, but when they do, they get the game. It seems like he has a better understanding of this, what the game is. I have this thing and you want more time with the kids. Okay. What is it? What else does this mean? If this is going to now inconvenience me, what else am I supposed to, what am I getting from this? It becomes very transactional, much like the dating game that you might find yourself in your future. But if you got something to add, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those videos, in those videos. And if you listen to my voice now and you have not subscribed, join the movement. We're trying to build something big here. I'll see you in the next one.